everybody, I'm Excerpt VC, and this is Rise of Flight. Today, we are going to look at the best of the best from a multiplayer session that we had the other evening. I played for about 2 hours with Dwarf Elvish Diplomacy. If you like Rise of Flight videos, check out his YouTube channel. He's got some excellent Rise of Flight career playthroughs and some multiplayer action. Many thanks to Dwarf Elvish for helping me install this game and figure out how to fly some of these airplanes. I couldn't have done it without him. Today we are flying, I'm the pilot, and this is the DFW CV, and Dwarf Elvish is sitting in the gunner's seat waiting for the action, and these two airplanes you see behind us are our escort. Well, let's see, I guess there's 3 of them. I thought there were 2. We don't know these people, but they were some of the other players in our faction on the server who decided, hey, if you're going to do a bunch of bombing runs, we're in albatrosses, we will escort you to your objective, which was really awesome. Looks like, am I seeing 4 airplanes? Yeah, I'm seeing 4 airplanes. Actually, I think one of those is hostile. Yeah, there you go. So there was a little bit of a dogfight going on behind us. I didn't realize that at the time. That's interesting to see, and I don't know how it turned out. I know that we arrived, I think that we will arrive at our destination with 2 of these escorts. Maybe 1. I don't know. Let's see how it turns out. But I am, my objective at this time, if I can figure out how to get back in the cockpit. Yeah, there we go. I am watching some of this action happen behind us and also getting ready to line up my bomb sites for a bombing run. Here's Dwarf Elvish panning around. He's looking for the action. Right now I'm using auto leveling mode. That's Shift A for you noobs. Pretty easy to get your, the altitude you want to fly at, and if you need to do some intense zooming in order to try to spot the enemy or your ground target, you can always just hit Shift A, and then the plane practically flies itself while you do all the looking around you need to do. This is how those of us who don't have Track IR5 have to do our business. The game is totally playable without Track IR5. Now there's the factory that I want to hit. We had actually made 1 bombing run already against this factory, and I think I destroyed one of the buildings. We're going back. I found out by doing this repeatedly that you are going to have to destroy every building in the complex in order to fulfill the objective of destroying the factory. So I line up the target with my scope sight. I find that that's best. You know, the center of the airplane is more to the right of where I'm looking, but the bombs are pretty much going to fall within the view of the scope sight. Now this is the view from the bomb sight, which I'm looking to see if it's going to show the adjustments for it, and I don't think it's showing up in this reporting, but there are ways to adjust your altitude and speed, which will set the crosshair. I was estimating my height or my altitude at 200 meters and my speed at about, I think, 130 kilometers per hour. It was all guesswork because I never did actually look into my cockpit to see. We're flying on the New Wings Wargrounds server, which has no icons and no simple gauges, or the simple gauges that it has don't show your altitude and speed and so forth. I think it just shows the clock and the compass. But I get lined up pretty well with it here. And what is that a truck down there next to the road? I don't think that's an actual target. Oh, no, that's an anti-aircraft installation, I think, actually. So here we go. These 2 buildings have actually been hit, I think, in my previous run, but I go back and try to make sure. Let's see if we can get a view of where those bombs actually fell. You saw where the sight was lined up. Oh, yeah. Right on target. Excellent. And actually took out those 4 buildings in between those 2 also, so I would call that a successful bombing run right there. The bomb sight, if properly, put in your altitude and speed, is going to be pretty accurate, minus the wind. There's no real way to measure wind without dropping a bomb and seeing what the windage actually is, because I've seen it before where the game is telling you that there's no wind at all, and it turns out that there is wind. Here's where I've spotted an enemy oncoming, and here he comes. We might as well switch to the rear view because I don't think I actually watched this. I'm just trying to give my gunner the best possible view, so we enter just sort of a spin here. Not a great deal of angle, but enough to hopefully throw off the oncoming plane's angle of attack just a little bit. You might notice I've got a few bombs left. I'm still planning on using those. And our escort enters the fight, I think. Is that our escort? Yeah, it looks like it. Although he's having some problems. I see he's smoking pretty badly right now. I'm not sure what this is that's on our tail, but his bullets are not finding their way into our wings yet. Here comes another escort. Doesn't seem to make a whole lot happen either. I wonder if he's on his way down. Oh no, he's done. He is completely done. And Dwarf Elvish is still firing away in this hail of gunfire. I've seen in the forums where people have said that the AI rear gunners are way too efficient in multiplayer. I would have to ask some of those people, are you sure that it was an AI gunner? Because there's no real indication. I mean, I know that I've got my teammate firing, here. So they don't know if it's an AI or a human, I don't think. But he makes the mistake of lining up right behind our tail. I mean, talk about presenting a perfect picture, and then to pull up, the worst mistake you could make there. And he gets punished for it. He is just absolutely destroyed there. And I'd make another bombing run against the same buildings. This, by the way, was kind of a mistake on my part. I should have gone for the other buildings, but I went and bombed the same buildings again that I'd already blown up. But I didn't actually, know that too much. We're in the middle of a firefight, and I'm just trying to get my bombs away and maybe finish the factory off. And we're going to turn back and I think go for one more run, and this time hopefully hit the buildings which are undamaged. I think here we're going to be able to switch to our bomb site view and have a look at my sight picture on this target. Right at the last minute, maybe going to the... Oh, no, this is just a... I didn't even look through my bomb sight. I think I was just trying to guess and dive bomb on this target. And the result was I overshot the target, unfortunately. I think that would have finished the factory off. I felt like I was constrained for time, and I just went ahead and bombs away. I'm going to look under the airplane and find out. I think I had one bomb left and didn't realize it. I can't tell. Is there a bomb under that airplane? I think there's one more right there under the wing. Well, it wouldn't have mattered because I overshot the target anyway. So there you go. This is the best of Rise of Light. Escorted to the target, get to drop some bombs. It's too bad we didn't destroy it. But look over here to the... Let's see, are those trees to the left or smoke? I'm trying to decide. I think those are trees. There is a train right on the other side of that copse of trees. And what we've decided to do is, hey, we unloaded our bombs on the bomb target. We've had a firefight in the sky. We've gotten a aircraft kill. Let's see if we can take out this train. And I love bombing trains. If I'd have had a few bombs here, I definitely would have dropped them on this train, but we have decided to try and use our machine gun to damage the train. So here's a little flyby, and I feel kind of bad about this. I see a red cross on the train. I hope we're not shooting wounded men here. But Dwarf Elvish does a pretty decent job of hitting the engine there. And I'm wheeling around now to I'm hoping to give him a pretty good picture if I could just orbit this train in a regular way. Maybe he could, constantly fire at it. But there was some confusion about this tactic. There you go. He's separated the engine from the rest of the cars now. Nice. And so he has asked me to maybe instead of orbiting the target, we should fly out for a bit and just come by in one straight low-level run so he can unload right out the side in a really stable way. The locomotive has completely stopped. It's not even moving forward. It's way too damaged. And we're going to come back and see if the machine gun will actually blow this train up. I had been thinking you might need bombs to do this, but let's see. Hey, why didn't we open up with the gun there? Oh, that was a terrible miss. And now you see our escort is back in the action. Looks like he's got a hole in his wing, but I'm not sure. Now it's a race. We're racing our teammate, maybe, who's going to destroy this train. He lays down a little strafe there. Looks like a lot of misses to me. So we're going to go back. Looks like Dwarf Elvish missed every shot he made too. I don't think that there's a lot of accounting going on for our airspeed there. You may have to, if you're the rear gunner in this craft, and you're shooting at a stationary target, you're probably going to have to lead that target based on your own airspeed, not necessarily the target's speed. And right there, the Albatross has successfully strafed the plane, and it is game over for that train. I think from my point of view, oh, did I miss it? Yeah, we got the notification that the Intente train was destroyed. So that was awesome. So we're now at two bombing runs against the factory. Unfortunately, it's not destroyed yet. One enemy aircraft down. One train disabled. Teammate destroyed. Very nice. And so what other kind of trouble can we get into? I'm thinking now that the airfield is probably, yeah, there's your notification. Welcome to New Wings. At the time when we joined the server, there were 21 players. Uh-oh, I see gunfire coming from behind. I wonder if I pan back. Yeah, here we go. Looking back, Dwarf Elvish is shooting up. Yep. This guy's trying to dive on us, so I'm using my auto leveling. I'm basically trying to turn this aircraft into a platform for my gunner. And the escort is in a dogfight with him back there, I see. And somebody has gone down. From this point of view, it's hard to tell whether that black spot is the Albatross escort or the enemy who shot our escort down. It probably would have helped if I would have zoomed way in, but I'm still trying to... Yeah, now this was an argument between me and my gunner, who didn't think that we should be firing flares to give away our position, but I'm thinking maybe we'll get some allies, back in on the fight if that was our escort who went down. You see the enemy airfield just off to the left there. Kind of my plan was maybe we would circle around the enemy airfield and wait for somebody to take off and blow them to hell. There's a flare going up on the enemy side indicating that they've spotted us. And I see two black specks in the distance. It's hard to tell whether those are friend or enemies at this time. Let's have a look back and see if this enemy's going to catch up with us or not. It doesn't look like he's in pursuit. And now again from the pilot's perspective, oh, I see two planes off in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen there. Looking back to see if the enemy's on us or not. Nothing doing so far. Nothing doing. Nobody taking off from the enemy airfields. I'm still trying to determine who these... And now, as they go by, you can almost kind of pick up that orangish brown color, I think. That these are albatrosses. They have seen my flares go up and are heading kind of in the general direction that I've indicated. So I'm glad I fired those. It didn't really bring any enemies, into our attention so far, but it did bring allies to the fight. So it turned out to be a good decision in the end. There you go. That's where I'm picking up the color of the aircraft and saying, yep, those are friendlies. There they go. 2 more albatrosses flying in formation. I'm really impressed by how some of the players on the server have been able to stick together, fly in formation, support one another. Really well done. As the pilot etiquette states, be a sportsman, no shoulder shooting, cover your teammates, don't crowd them. Turned out to be a really great mission on the front. And it's about time to wrap up this episode, so I hope you've enjoyed watching our bombing run and our air kill. And many thanks to War Levels Diplomacy for covering my 6 during this flight. I think he did a stupendous job of killing those Yatsuki Phillips. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.